morning, everybody, and Gita's there, and both of the babies are here. So one's there, and the babies slept very nicely on the bed with me all night. And in the morning, they were on the bed with me, but they got up when the fire alarm went off. And then, a little later, Agita and one of the babies were on the bed, and I started to tape, but apparently, for some reason, it didn't actually, save. But and as soon as I start taping, Agita gets up. She doesn't like to be seen being friendly with her, well, semi-friendly with her brothers. So anyway, to me, that was a welcome home. That's a very, very good sign, that Agita tolerated her brother on the same bed within like 2 feet. So, yes, I mean, it's going to be this particular return. Each time, as I said, I go deeper. And this time there was a lot of, it was unpleasant. They're mostly unpleasant, but, but this one, there was just a lot of dynamics and a lot of, and that asshole Peterson supporter person, that supposed trans, that, she didn't like my calling him a he, even though the person that he was with was calling him a he. And I'm like going on, normally I would be very, very careful about these things. But, I tried to be politically correct with the terms and all. But when a fucking Peterson supporter, the Petersons, made a name for himself with attacking the pronouns. So we've got a trans person who is a follower of Peterson. I don't think that he or she deserves the pronoun that they want, because, and he goes, she goes, my pronoun is, she. And I go, you're a Peterson supporter. I mean, he's anti-pronoun. He was ready to go to jail rather than, get fired rather than, use the correct pronouns. And and then I also, at some point, I don't think he or she deserves the respect, because they think like a man. I mean, like the most traditional, sexist, male attitudes towards women that you could possibly imagine. Archaic. So somebody like that, I mean, it's much later now, 4 hours, and I just sat on the sofa and I napped, and then I got up and I just couldn't move because I'm still exhausted and processing all the shit from the last, I mean, not just the last, slither, but there was a whole series, there's like 4 excursions within 6 days, which is kind of a lot, So anyway, I've just been, processing, and, so now, and both the babies are very nicely settled there, and had to search a bit for the kids there under the bed, So, I intended to go out to eat. I haven't had breakfast yet. And, I have fed the kids, so that's a good thing. But I do need to eat myself and get back into the patterns of eating and sleeping and taking my diabetes meds and stuff. So, but it's just been so much of an effort to actually get dressed and go out. But I think I need to do it, so I'm going to have to really push myself to do this now. And I'm thinking, spent so much money over the last week that no point in really trying to save now. However, I do have all my points, so might as well use them. So I might go to the Cineplex, and there's a restaurant there where I can use my points. The lounge with the VIP. You don't have to see a movie. Right now, I can't, seeing a movie will be too much effort. Not right now. But for today, it's just returning, eating. It's going to be a goal, eating. And then tomorrow I have a Zoom session with my analyst, and so we'll see how that goes. I did remember this morning's dream, but I didn't write it down at the time, So, okay. Gonna really, really have to motivate myself to get feeling a bit like a vampire. I don't want to go out into the sun, but then That's the substances and the other stuff, Anyway, bye for now. I mean, that whole thing was very interesting. It was very, very enlightening, and and the know-it-all guy, guy, girl, whatever it is, as I said, I don't, the fact, it just boggles my imagination that somebody who is trans will buy into Peterson's shit, and then he or she will say that I'm misinterpreting Peterson, but I don't know. This whole big thing was, I refuse to use the pronouns. I will not be legislated into it, which was to sort of encourage people who are, transphobic or hesitant to, to make things easier. And then this person wants to says, my pronouns are she and her, but, huge fan of Peterson. And I just don't, the whole right thing, right, left, I don't know. And the people who think that they're so aware, and they made a judgment about me as well, about, and they were pretty sure that, this is, but, it's complicated, and I don't want to go into that, but they were wrong. I am aware of my own, processes that, can't really always communicate them when I'm in that world, but I know for the most part what is going on, So this person made a judgment, and you said, oh, he is this, and also said, oh, I find him boring. They're talking about me when I'm just like in the next room, So, and he goes, I find him boring, and that's probably because I couldn't speak, and when I was able to, it was just like a couple of theories or whatever that I could, that I can do almost without thinking, So it was it's very hard for me to communicate. So, he found me boring, but I found him a pompous asshole. It's kind of worse than boring, I think. The Nutty Professor is normally not boring. Yes, I play a bit of I can play the fool. That's the whole Nutty Professor persona, I vaguely remember something with fools coming up too, but I don't remember, Anyway, never mind, it was interesting. It was an adventure. There was, substances and, that kind of alternate lifestyle thing certainly is, it's interesting, it brings out all kinds of stuff, and you go to places and you see, these desert denizens of the underworld, and Hello everybody, I'm here at the Cineplex VIP lounge restaurant, and you don't have to see a movie, you can just walk in. I can use some of my points here, and it's a nice restaurant, I got the mini out there. It was a bit of an effort, and even driving, I was using the Mercedes for a while, but I brought the Mini, and, shifting gears is a bit of an effort, but I've just done it so long, it comes automatically, so to speak, so, but, it was nice to be back in the little car, so, and just sitting around people, I think it's going to help. And then I'll go to the PetSmart. That always helps. Gonna buy some, see what canned food is on sale, and just try to bring myself back to the ordinary world after that, And the thing with this last one was, I mean, it wasn't just the substances and slithering with junkies. It was all of that, but it was also, the politics came into it, and also, relationship issues, and, various things, and the Nutty Professor, when I'm there, yes, I'm completely out of it, I regress to the point of like a 1-year-old, but I'm still aware of what's going on, and people don't realize that, so, and so now I'm like, what did I learn from that, Quite a bit, actually, but then I do, from every one of these things. They're not particularly pleasant, but they're connecting, you know, and I don't know, the soda came up, and you know, the self, you know, self-determining, or the guy who thinks, the guy, girl, whatever, who thinks that she is some kind of life coach, you know, guru-ish type thing, but a very logical one. I still can't get my head around this. You know, there is a trans who is a huge supporter of Peterson and very right way. I just don't get it. You know, just. Yeah, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It's theater of the absurd. You know, with the right mindset, it's kind of interesting. You know, so you know, get sucked into it. You know, which I kind of did. Sort of, you know. So, and then my own shit starts coming up, and it's like, you know, it's like the most fucked up form of therapy you could get. But anyway, I'm in there and all this shit's happening, and he's like going, oh, you know, there's this disinhibition, and you can do this, and you can do that, and I was just thinking, you know, we're talking about connection, and I've discussed this with my analyst before, and I haven't gone into a lot of detail, but I have mentioned that 12 steps just doesn't work for me. And that whole, you have to accept the higher power thing, and that's the only way, because you're weak, and you're a junkie, and you will never be able to get out of this by yourself. You have to accept, you have to turn your cravings over to the higher power. You have to that's the only way out. I've been told that. That's the only way out. Or else you will die. One guy actually said that to me, and I'm like, if those are the only choices, I'll take death, you know. But there are more choices than that. So, but then he said that like 6 years ago, and you know, still going. You know? But anyway, but that whole higher power thing, they're very defensive about it. And he was like going, oh, you know, if whatever, oh, they are. I've noticed it a few times. I've tried different self-help books, but they're always very defensive. Like, whatever this higher power is to you, if it is just the group, but it's not. I mean, you know, they when they say he, and I think I even saw Lord in there somewhere. You know, it's very Judeo-Christian. You know, it's and the whole 12 step. No, that's not my way out. You know, that's not. To me, that is a much worse addiction than this. You know, I will. And my friend, and she means well, but my friend, he keeps going, you must, you know, your only way out of this is rehab. Now, most rehabs are 12 steps. You know, there are some that are not, and I looked into them. There are some that are alternative, you know, but they are also, I mean, you know, part of the thing is to re-socialize you. It's like, you know, you have to be amongst people, and there was one where, you know, you said when you come to the group meetings, you can't wear track pants. And I'm like, you know, I get it. It's the whole thing about getting you into the junkie patterns and bringing you back to society, and, you know, you got to dress up for dinner, you know? You got to hold your knife and fork right at the table and all that shit. They're re-socializing you to be a conforming human. And I'm like, you know, and then even the really expensive ones, the ones that do attachment therapy analysis, which, you know, stuff like that, and they have a personal trainer, and they have a Michelin chef who will cater your meals to your particular, you know, addiction, and what the sustenance will bring you back. It's all bringing you back, but it's bringing you back to a traditional society. And I rejected traditional society a long time ago. I mean, sort of a hermit. I did, you know, I love my cats. I love my friends, the very few that I have, that are, you know, and that's about it. I do my podcast because I want to record my journey. I can do it because I can. Let's just do it that way. I can. Because, you know, I can speak, I don't mind sharing. Now, that gets very tricky because it's how much to share. And I don't want to reveal too much because, you know, as I keep saying, other people are involved. And I've probably shared more about this last binge than I have in previous ones, you know, but that's just because, you know, I don't think I owe them much, the way that, the shit that happened there. But still, I won't reveal identities or anything, or situations, or exactly what was happening, or where it took place, or anything like that would identify these people. All I've said is a trans who supports Peterson. Now, there can't be too many in the world, but I don't think he or she goes around advertising this. So, cannot be identified by that. So, and that's what I get out of it. I come back and I'm like, good, I've got stories, and that's the problem. Because they're personal, I can't really share them, in this. This is just too open ideas to write, and I've written quite a lot, and I want to, because in writing, then you can, fictionalize and change stuff and all of that. Whereas in this, I can't really say I'm making it up. I take a little bit of, artistic license as such, because it's my perspective, nobody else's, it's mine. So if I remember something in a certain way, or something, it's my impression, or what I felt, even if the other people didn't, feel that or experience that. And there were quite a few misunderstandings, but then you're very, you're in that other world. So anyway, just to get back to the 12-step thingy. When they talk about the higher power, and that's the thing that really pisses me off, because it's not that I don't like the term higher power anyway, higher, lower, whatever. I think it's more tonic, it's more lower power, but it's a connection, and I do this whole spiritual path, and then, the mythological stuff, and the Dionysian stuff, and all of that, yeah. I mean, for me, that's like a Dionysian ritual, the connection. So for me, the binges, or the, slithering, or the whatever, slithering snake, important in Judeo-Christian mythology as well. But anyway, so the slithering is a direct connection to it, the numinous, you're connecting with, something with what they call the so-called, 12-step people, the so-called higher power. The reason I do that shit is the connection with the higher power, or lower power, or the inner power, or the whatever, the transcendent power, And I mean, drugs have been used in rituals, and this he/she was talking about ayahuasca. But it's turned, I've heard about it, and it's just too, again, it's too religious for me. The way that they do it, and you got to go asking with this thing. And I even with my inner exploratory journeys, I will do it in my own terms. I will not do it the way that, let's just, go on this trip to connect with the G thing, on ayahuasca. Ayahuasca's interesting because actually William S. Burroughs, he was in search of it, because he thought, oh, thank you very much. Now, I think the only thing I need now is Tabasco, if you have it.
Tabasco, okay.
Thank you. Okay, food is here. I will continue the safari. It's pretty good. I have the first real meal I've eaten in 3 days. Now, I went a little easy on the Tabasco just because my system is not really used to food or that for now. So, when I said I went easy on it, I only used like that much, So, no. Oh, I took my diabetes meds. What was I talking about? Oh, yes. I've talked about this whole 12-step thing before, and it's come up in previous podcasts, and I usually hold back a little bit because I don't want to... Nutty Professor doesn't really want to offend people or create controversy, but I'm now at the place where I don't really give a shit, and the people that I think deserve to be offended, and it's just my views. I mean, just my views. That's it. My experience, my views. That's all I'm saying. Not, I read a lot, and I know all the theories. I taught them in textbooks for a long time and all that shit, I know the Jung, and I know the existentialism and all of that, but I'm like, what I say now is just based on my experience and my, and I've had a guide, my analyst, who I'm seeing on Zoom tomorrow. Now, that's another thing. My analyst is very good, and the whole making the unconscious conscious and the whole individuation process. But there was a disconnect some time ago because he at one point he not pushed, but he suggested the 12 steps. When things got really bad. They've actually got a lot worse since then. But this was when he thought that things were really, really bad. And he brought up 12 steps a couple of times. And he goes, some people, they go there and it just doesn't work. Some people, they go there, they buy the whole thing. They're right into it and they become a part of it and they follow the 12 steps and then they go out and preach and give it to others. And it becomes, that's like 1/3. 1/3 it does nothing. And then 1/3 they go, but they don't buy into all of the principles and necessarily the higher power, but it's that sense of community, and that and the structure, and when you have the cravings, you can go to a meeting. For him to even say that to me, means that he doesn't get me. He really, really didn't get where I was going or who I am. So that was that led to a disconnect some time ago. So I still feel him and I trust him. I do, and he's somewhat non-judgmental, but it's very hard. I mean, there's the transference and non-transference and all of that stuff, but I can't talk about some of the more intimate aspects of what happens on my binges because I feel that he is not entirely non-judgmental, So that's what, so I kind of, the sessions are, and again, I normally don't talk about this stuff, and, it's part of the analysis, and you're not supposed to talk about it, but at this point, I've gone so far beyond all of that shit that, and I wouldn't reveal anything. And when he says, don't say this, and I'm telling you this in confidence or whatever, I would never mention it, But in terms of my impression of my feelings about what's going on there, I mean, I think I have a right to talk about it, For my 25 viewers, that's not that this is going to go anywhere, So anyway, that was the whole 12-step thing, and I was trying to explain to him some time ago that the 12-step people and their approach to me is worse than any religion. Is worse than any, cult, because they are taking people who are exploring, who have taken the risk, who have gone into their psyches, and they're exploring their shadows, and to bring them back, they're turning them into praying, chanting zombies. It's like, come here and you start with a serenity prayer, and then we all hold hands, and then somebody has a relapse, and then everybody hugs them, and as long as you buy into their shit, as long as you buy into their cult, they will accept you. But it's there. But if you don't, you're unredeemed junkie, and so to me it's insidious. The people at their weakest, not weakest, even saying the word weakest, people in addictions, they're weak and strong. It's pairs of opposites, So yes, and, of course, other people get hurt, and that whole you got to go apologize and all of that shit, And I'm like, no, I mean, that's not my path, I'm not going to repent, I'm going to follow my path, and if it takes me to death, it takes me to death, but I'm not going, that is not my route out, and rehab is not my route out, with the, you got to wear the, pads to meetings and all of that stuff, and, no, and, have a personal trainer and eat properly. I don't think that this would be considered a very healthy meal for returning from a drug binge. So so that's the irony to me. The irony to me is that yes, of course, it fucks up people's lives and all of that stuff, but everything fucks you. Peterson fucks people up. Everybody fucks, the left and the right and everything. All of this, So what doesn't fuck you up? What the heck is going on here? Somebody's vulnerable, and you brainwash them in this cult, and you have them chant and pray and turn them into zombies, and you think, is this supposed to be a good thing? And my analyst actually sort of suggested it to me, I'm like, you're not getting it, you're not guiding me here, So that's what, and that's the thing. The people that go, the so-called junkies, and it could be anything. There is sex addiction, and there's shopping addiction, and there's whatever, So, and the tranny guy was talking about serotonin and dopamine. I mean, this is the lowest level of this whole thing. I get that too. I used to teach basic neurophysiology, very basic, but that's just very, very low level of this. It's one level, of course, to what we call quote addiction, unquote. Or being a psychonaut. That's another way. I kind of like being a psychonaut. So anyway, but the irony is that people who are really, brave and exploring, at the cost of personal relationships, at the cost of, not fitting into society, going to jail, all of that stuff, these you take them in a room and you have them supposedly say the only way out of their cravings is to believe in a higher power because they're so weak. They're so weak and they're so insignificant that the only way you can ever come back is to chant and pray, and and once you're saved, you have to go out and save others. The 12th step, Fuck it. This is not the Nutty Professor's path, and that's, to me, that's insidious. It's insidious. It's evil. To me, that's evil. So I'm like, and now I'm not going to hold my tongue. I mean, what should I? I'm nutty. I'm a drug addict, so what do I have to lose? I got 20 viewers, so let my 20 viewers. And people go, oh, his mind's gone. It's kind of my mind went a long time ago. So anyway, here we are. Nutty Professor is just revealing a little bit more of his nuttiness. Now, some of my friends are going to go, I think you've gotten to the crazy level now. But it's a natural progression. But I still want to come back to a certain degree because to function, because the tasks that I need to do. I need to progress my podcasts. I need to publish my stories. Because I want people to see an objective view of so-called addiction, not just a judgmental, not just I was so bad when I was a junkie, and now I'm saved, and now I'm good, and now I'm no conforming cog, and I apologize to everyone for being such a shitty human, but now I'm a good human, I'm a nice little dog, I'm a cat, I'm a feral cat. So embracing it, and I'm a dusty dumpster rotten weasel at times, but it is getting a little, counterproductive to, and also because I do have a family, and my family is very, very important to me. My kids, my cats, much more so than any human. So, and then I have my friends. So that's that's where we are now. Nutty Professor is revealing a little bit more. Again, I might be sounding a little incoherent now, but there's and some people might go, oh, he's going mad. But well, I told you, Nutty to crazy. So if I'm going to be crazy, you might as well just say whatever comes into my head. That's what crazy people do, right? Anyway, bye for now. She's bringing me another cup. So since I'm doing this shit, I might as well do it, And maybe that's what also really annoys me about Peterson and anyone who has 12 steps or 12 rules at all. Like, the stand up straight, don't be a weasel, stop and pet a cat. Thank you very much. Even though, I don't stop and pet a cat, And so, all those various things about being a person that you, whatever, that you wanted it to be whatever, I don't know. It's just, psychobabble shit, It's like and it convinces people. It's like Nutty Professor doesn't do rules. that's what kind of messes me up a bit. But I don't do rules, So the whole rule, kill anyone or steal, I prefer not to, and follow the norms of society, and I don't drive while I'm under the influence. There are certain rules that norms that that I will follow, but and I will try not to hurt people if I possibly can, But put cats above humans, and that's there's some rules. You have to do this, and this is the formula. There are 12 steps, and there are 12 rules. No, these, and they rant about conformity and and sheeples and all of that stuff. Which is just another. You know what? Enough. I can't. I'm not making much sense, but anyway, you've got an idea of where I'm going with this, and I may be losing it, but that's fine. It's fine. I do want to come back because now the substance use is becoming, and the situations I go into are becoming. Well, they have been for a while, counterproductive. And there is something that I get from them. And I don't want to talk too much in detail here because they are personal things. And as I keep saying, other people are involved. So I will talk a little bit about, the people that I have met, but without, providing identities, except, when somebody starts talking about Peterson. If you start talking about Peterson, then I'm going to rant because when I first heard about him and I first started seeing his podcast, he really, and it's not because I'm left, I'm not left, I'm not left, I'm not right, I'm not middle, kind of outside of the politics for now, So I'm in Nutty Professor land. Cloud cuckoo land, so to speak. Anyway, look, bye for now. I gotta go. Maybe going buying some cat food will help. Bye for now. Hello, everybody. I'm here at PetSmart, and they're doing this dog training thing, and they do it almost every time I come in. And that particular dog, she was trying to get him to calm him or her. The dog was just going, I don't want to, just give me some treats, that's it, But, this whole thing with dogs, we're trying to condition them and, train them. And that's why I like cats. It's a different species. Look at this. No self-respecting cat would allow that. So to me, that was my metaphor with the rehab thing. The Nutty Prof is not going to be reinforced and patted on the head for conforming. That's not happening. The Nutty Prof is a feral cat, semi-feral. Anyway, bye for now. Now they're doing the very basic, Pavlovian classical conditioning, and they're just going to use a bell. Again, poor critters, feel sorry for them, Anyway, gotta get the cat food back to the kids. Bye for now. Dogs everywhere, dogs. Yeah. That one looks very happy. I guess, when you're less intelligent, you can't be happy. Anyway, bye for now. Everybody, I just got back, took a quick shower, Nagita's there, and one of the babies is there, and the other baby is there. I saw the tail. I said, oh, let's see the baby. So you get the babies, and Agita, and Daddy. So, relatively safe again. I'm in my sanctuary, I was a little bit of an ordeal going out there and then seeing all the dogs, and I don't know, all that shit that I just spewed on tape. At this point, I don't think I'm going to hold back, and there's still a little bit of a filter, and I'm not going to reveal anything that will get anyone else arrested or myself arrested, hopefully. So, I could be making all of this up, It's like, anyway, a little Nutty Professor performance, like I used to do. Most of my lectures were really just performances. My persona, the Nutty Professor. I did cover the theories, and I did do all of that, and I entertained. But now, I guess maybe this is a different form of entertainment. And I'm still a couple of filters in place, but I'm removing improving some just to see what happens. After where I've been and how far I've gone, I don't see the point in really holding back much. So, not too much because, that has to be kept for the writing, and then, it can be called fiction or whatever. And if I ever get to those, it's just such a hassle. I've tried a couple of times, and, I've been told that my writing is actually good and it's interesting stories, but just the whole hassle of the, finding the right editor. And the second editor I approached was scared off by the subject matter. Oh, there's some illegal stuff in there, and I don't want to be, held responsible for any of that, So she kind of backed out. And the first one was an old lady who was, she saw it as an addiction and something bad and something that it should be like a moral lesson to others. Don't go down this route like the Nutty Professor because it's bad. And this is how, and, she actually wanted me to go in a more clinical direction. So she just didn't get it, Anyway, look, I'm going to edit it. Before I think too much about this, I'm going to edit a bit in post. Next stage, I don't know where this is going to go, but, I'm ranting and raving a bit, but why not? I think I've earned it, And what have I got to lose? I have nobody, except my kids and my 5 friends who I, email contact, text contact, the occasional lunch, My family is completely cut off. The 3 people here, they're just completely, they're so caught up in their own shit. And they're also they're narcissistic in a different way. And it's like, and I understand, they have lives. They don't need to deal with crazy uncles, So, in spite of the fact that we were once close, but now, and when I really, really, really need them, when I ask, they don't say no. But at this point, because of the way that they've shunned me, I wouldn't even ask. Even if I got arrested or something, I'd call duty counsel. I wouldn't call my cousin who's a lawyer at this point because, if I really, really had to, I would. And, and I think they know that if they ever get into a situation where they really, really need me, I wouldn't say no. But at this point, the fact that they haven't even sent a text or an email in months, and my so-called nephew was here, in the summer, they live 3 kilometers down that road. And he was so busy with his internship. And I'm like, 24 hours a day? And he goes, oh, yeah, no, I'm just so busy. I haven't had time to call you or text you. I mean, even a text going, hi, Uncle, how you doing? Are you okay? No, nothing. So, fuck them too. So, anyway, there we go. No human family for the Nutty Professor. Just my kids and my 5 limited friends. And that's it. And my nuttiness and my explorations and, But at this point, it's probably a better idea to cut back the explorations because they're just going, they're going in a direction that will, I don't know, there's no good or bad. There was my kids to think about and my friends, and wanting to publish. Dead, I'm not going to be able to publish. So anyway, or in jail. Anyway, bye for now. Routines are important, so, I might as well stick to it. So, from the 4 of us, so for 1 baby and 2 baby, there's 2 baby, the second baby, and the Gita, and myself, the nuttiest of professors, who is now embracing the crazy. That's the next step, bye for now. I guess it's evolution, evolutionary process, Peterson talks about too. But anyway, bye for now from the 4 of us. See you at the next podcast.